From coast to coast, Donald Trump and MAGA leaders are getting booed. First, we'll bring you to Washington, D.C. at Union Station, where Just Dance Vance, that's California Governor Gavin Newsom's name for J.D. Vance, set up a military-style meeting in Union Station, along with Stephen Miller and Pete Hegseth. And this is how he was greeted in Union Station. Here, play this clip. Another angle of that, you had people calling him a couch effer. Here, play this clip.
Oh, look! It's couch fucker! You gonna fuck a couch, buddy?
Right here. Do not go past this.
Oh, that's so funny.
I hadn't seen that angle.
Yeah, I saw that angle. That angle's golden. The truth is golden. Then Elise Stefanik, she represents New York's 21st congressional district. She's who Donald Trump first appointed to be the ambassador to the United Nations, and then he pulled her nomination because the MAGAs were afraid they were going to lose seats in the House of Representatives. So she's been too afraid to do a town hall. She kind of billed herself originally as this moderate from Harvard, and she was going to bring people together. She went just ultra MAGA. She's avoided town halls, but she figured that if she just went to Plattsburgh and gave this speech at like a government building's naming ceremony, she wouldn't get booed. Here's what happened. Here, play this clip. So she was literally booed off the stage. Now, normally a politician would just try to grind through it, right? And just speak for, how long was she really going to speak for? 3 minutes, 5 minutes? She couldn't last 30 seconds. She was getting booed so mercilessly there. And we previously showed you Donald Trump getting booed at the WWE events, Donald Trump getting booed at the FIFA World Cup events. And Donald Trump would also like steal like the medals from and the trophies from like the teams at those events. Showing you now the West Coast in California, MAGA Republican Congress member Doug LaMalfa getting booed at his town hall. Let's watch this.
We know what you've done. We vote and we will hold you accountable. Anybody that voted for the big bullshit bill.
Watch your language, please. It's a public event. Put that finger down. That's really disturbing. Get it on that thing. Not cuts for Medicaid / Medicare. This bill is not going to be the be-all, end-all on the whole Medicaid question. This had a portion that had to do with the fiscal under the budget reconciliation rules. And so it's not the end of the discussion. People that really do need it and are eligible under the program, they're not being cut. And the hospital portion of it, no.
People saying shame, shame, that's BS. And it is BS. It is shameful, their conduct. By the way, this is all in the past week or so. Harriet Hagman, MAGA Republican Congresswoman. Here, play this clip.
Who's responsible for establishing tariffs in our country?
Well, right now the president has taken that authority, but I imagine when we go back to September, we're going to be talking about that.
Why did he take that authority?
You're going to have to ask.
You guys gave it to him. The House of Representatives are responsible for establishing tariffs. You gave that to him. The next thing I'd like to ask you,
that's exactly what's going to happen.
you look at the bigger picture. You're here to take
Tariffs have raised over $150 billion.
Who pays for that? Who pays for that? You pay for that.
Inflation has not gone up.
Inflation
has not gone up.
There are reasons it hasn't gone up if you look at the
And they live in this made-up world. Inflation has not gone up. The economy is booming. Everything is going great. There's a reason why 38% of Americans approve right now of Donald Trump's handling of the economy, because inflation is going up significantly. Not only that, the consumer price index is no longer even ingesting all of the data that's necessary to make the fair predictions, because Donald Trump fired all of the data people. So it's mostly just guesses. But when you go and get coffee, when you go and buy beef, when you go and buy groceries of any kind, your energy prices at home, they're all massively higher right now, and people can't afford things. And they go out with this kind of, because they're parroting Trump's talking points, and they're saying inflation hasn't gone up. Everything is great. You're living in the golden age right now. Brett and Jordy.
I'm starting to think these people aren't too well liked there, Ben and Jordy. It's good to be here, you guys. Good to be here, everybody. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching wherever you get the show. We really appreciate you tuning in. You know, this is why Trump and, this is why they have to create this entire world of fiction around them. This is why they need this alternative universe, these fake facts. This is why they need Fox and all these influencers and propagandists every day, just pumping bullshit out into the ecosystem every single day, every single minute, because the reality out there ain't looking too good for these people. It's also why you're seeing all these moves right now by Donald Trump and the Republican Party across the country to try to cheat already in the midterms and rig the maps, because they know they are seeing the internal polling, they are seeing the data, and they know how pissed off Americans are at them. And they are going to the store. They are understanding that they are paying a lot more for goods. They are seeing the layoffs in their communities. They are seeing inflation skyrocket. They're seeing jobs go away. And then they're seeing Donald Trump and his sycophants, like the people we just showed you, saying that everything is fantastic and that they should be grateful for what they have, as if we live in some dictatorship. Well, I think you could extrapolate why. However, that's why we need to continue to push back with all the truth. We're going to break down all the latest news, all the latest updates. But first, I got to toss to Jordy. Jordy, we're all in different places today, huh? We're except me, I guess.
I'm in Dallas right now, heading home soon. But
we missed you the other day.
Yeah, I missed you guys too. I missed the Midas Mighty, of course. Harriet Hagman, no shame. I mean, all these MAGA Republican politicians, absolutely no shame. And I just keep thinking to myself, boy, they must be so confused. Because these talking points, Harriet Hagman, your talking points, Elise Stefanik, they work so well over X, over Twitter, right? Oh, you get all the retweets, all the views. People love that stuff over there. But when you take it actually to the people, to their faces, what's the response? Exactly what we saw in those clips. These policies are hurting the American citizen at large. And I'm so glad that these folks are showing up, that these pro-democracy citizens are showing up and having their voices be heard, because it is just utter lunacy that the Harriet Hagmans, the Stephanics of the world, that they just expect people to sit idly by while the economy, while they're being hurt, while their families are being hurt, while they're being squeezed. It's absolutely disgusting. And I'm just happy that the pro-democracy community is getting vocal.
I'm going to find this clip for Brett during the break of Harriet Hagman. One of the things she's known to do in the halls of Congress is she walks around with a lasso. You heard that right, a lasso. And so she'll just start swinging her lasso. She starts swinging her lasso around as she walks through the halls of Congress. And she's the congresswoman from Wyoming. She replaced Liz Cheney as MAGA purged out people like Liz Cheney. And they've got these like lasso people who, for them, this is like a game. This is the best job they could ever get, being a member of Congress. They don't view themselves as public servants. They view themselves as Donald Trump's servants. And they go around with this crazy performative nonsense, and they inflict real pain on people. Now, one of the things I study that a lot of I don't think any other corporate news covers it at all. I think we may be the only news outlet, independent news, that really covers this. I cover Donald Trump's emails to people because I'm trying to show how his brainwashing techniques work to keep the base with him as he's doing these horrible things. So part of the behavior is to literally say, I'm getting sad. You're making me sad. Please, you're hurting my feelings. I thought we were friends. So I got another one of these from Donald Trump this morning. I subscribe to his list so you don't have to. And the subject line is, please, I'm starting to worry. It's sent from the account I am Donald J. Trump, which is weird in and of itself. And the emails read something like this. Ben, this is getting sad. I've asked you so many times to complete my MAGA poll. I'm worried about you. And he sends this every day or every other day. You're making me sad. I'm worried about you. Is it something that I said? Please tell me you're still with MAGA. Please, I'm starting to worry about you. And these are the tactics that he's using to his followers. And then he's doing these far right-wing media hits, and he's doing these weird radio hits like he did Mark Levin the other day, where he called himself a war hero, just like Netanyahu. That's what Trump says. Trump goes, Netanyahu's a war hero, so I guess I'm a war hero also. Here, play this clip.
Worked with your friend Bibi. He's a good man. He's in there fighting. He's fighting. They're trying to put him in jail on top of everything else. How about that? He's nuts. He's a war hero because we work together. He's a war hero. I guess I am too. Yep. Nobody cares, but I am too. I mean, I sent those planes.
You're not a war hero. You are a 5-time draft dodger. It always is just baffling to me how people in the military, how anybody, but how veterans look to that and go, oh, he's my guy. I mean, a guy who literally said that people who were injured or die in war are suckers and losers, who said that McCain's not a hero because he's gotten captured, who uses the Arlington Cemetery as photo props for himself and like bullies the people that are there. I mean, we've seen Donald Trump hates the military, except if it's used for performative, shows of dictatorial strength with him. But that's what he says. And by the way, I think it's helpful that people know that in Tel Aviv, the protests continue to grow every day. You're like 500,000 plus people are showing up. Not every day that amount, but on big days but every day there are protests. 500,000 people protesting Netanyahu's atrocities in Gaza. Even in Israel, they're protesting Netanyahu. He's not all that popular there, to be clear. They have a coalition government. He's been able to form a coalition with this he's far right-wing, but with another far right-wing group to keep control of that government. But I think I want to also let people know that, and be very clear, it is not anti-Semitic to call out Netanyahu and the atrocities that are being committed in Gaza. But when Donald Trump says something like that, barely registers with corporate news, they don't cover it all. But just look at what else he said. Just today, he goes on the Todd Starnes show, a far right-wing podcaster. And then Donald Trump is asked, well, when do you think there'll be peace in Ukraine? When do you think you're going to do it? What's the latest, Donald? Here, play this clip where Donald Trump says 2 weeks. Let's play it.
Do you think we're going to be able to get peace in that region, Mr. President?
Well, I'll let you know in about, I would say within 2 weeks, we're going to know one way or the other.
Brett, what were the headlines? Jordy, what were the headlines coming out of the meeting in Alaska and then the meeting with the European leaders earlier this week? Well, the first thing Donald Trump said was there was going to be a ceasefire, but then he said, actually, there's a broader peace plan. No, you just adopted what Putin was going to say. You said there was supposed to be a ceasefire last Friday. That never happened. Then what did we hear from all of the corporate news about the meeting with Europe? Putin agreed to NATO-like security guarantees, Article 5 security guarantees where the European forces or NATO forces could get in there and give Ukraine real guarantees. Donald Trump said Putin said that to him. What else did we hear? Trilateral meeting. Putin's agreed to meet with Zelensky and Donald Trump. A trilat, as Donald Trump said. Nope, no ceasefire, no trilateral meeting, no security guarantees. And Putin's been accelerating his war machine ever since. He struck an American factory earlier today. And more ballistic missiles, more Shahid drones coming from Iran. Donald Trump's empowered Iran, by the way, since he didn't get rid of their enriched uranium, basically remove sanctions, allows Iran to sell more oil to China, get more Shahid drones over to Russia, and declare total obliteration there in Iran, which was not total obliteration. But Brett, it's good that I brought up Iran because same thing, right? Fake headline, total obliteration, didn't happen. Iran stronger. We did this great meeting with European leaders and Putin. No, you didn't. Putin stronger. It's always this over and over again. Just name the topic.
It's the same pattern every single time. And just to clarify something that happened today, because this is not getting nearly enough attention, that Vladimir Putin bombed the factory of an American company in Ukraine. The company is called Flex Limited. He bombed their factory, which is in Western Ukraine, which is nowhere near where all the fighting is happening right now. Bombed it with cruise missiles overnight. It was one of the largest aerial attacks in the war to date. And everyone's kind of silent on this. Donald Trump has not said anything about a United States business being attacked by Putin in Ukraine. This is essentially Vladimir Putin further humiliating Donald Trump and the United States, mocking Donald Trump in his face. And that's why if you're a reporter out there, I beg of you to just take this lesson. You are not a stenographer for Donald Trump. You are not there to simply write what Donald Trump tells you to write. If Donald Trump says, I just did a trade deal with Japan, or I just did a trade deal with the EU, or I just made Iran safer or Israel safer because I totally obliterated Iran's nuclear program, or I just made peace between Russia and Ukraine. You don't have to rush out there and be the first to write the headline, breaking news, Donald Trump makes peace, breaking news, Donald Trump makes a trade deal. Because as we've learned, and it shouldn't have taken this long to learn if you're just waking up right now, we've learned this a long time ago, but Donald Trump lies. He lies about everything. And it doesn't usually take that long for the lie to be exposed. In many of these situations, basically instantly. In some of these situations, you find out within 24 hours that what Trump claimed happened was actually total BS. But in the interim, you have done Donald Trump's PR for him. You gave him the headlines that he wanted. You spread that fake news. You've further eroded the trust in your platforms, which also feeds into Donald Trump's takeover of the United States. And so you need to be more responsible with the reporting. I get the urge that you want to be first, but it's more important in these situations to be correct. And what we're learning after basically all of these, it's that Donald Trump is actually making many of these situations much worse. Like I saw actual experts today. They wrote a piece, I forget in what publication, but they said the situation between Ukraine and Russia right now is actually worse than it was than before the meetings. Before the meetings that Trump had with Putin, before the meetings that Trump had with Zelensky and the EU. They said that that situation right now is worse off because of what Donald Trump did, because of Trump's intervention. Learning the same thing about Iran. Iran is actually in better shape right now to rebuild. Their nuclear program was not totally obliterated. They were able to get their enriched uranium out of there, and now they are quickly rebuilding, and they are back and better than ever in terms of that program. So if we're going to learn this every single time, if Japan is going to speak out and say, that's not actually the trade deal, I don't know what the heck he's talking about. When we it gets under my throat. If when we get something about the EU trade deal, we find out that, Donald Trump lied to us about what was actually in this trade deal, then we need to just take a step back and realize that the media is doing Trump's bidding for him every single time. And enough is enough.
It's gross to see. It's absolutely gross to see. That's why I love what we do here at the MeidasTouch Network and the Meidas Mighty, holding his feet to the fire every step of the way. Putin is actively taunting Donald Trump, actively taunting America. We see how Putin reports on Melania in the state-run TV. It's absolutely disgusting. And every time he does that, America is weaker because of Donald Trump as president right now. And there's no doubt about it. Everything Trump touches turns to shit. He's not this expert deal negotiator. He was a dude that was literally born with a silver spoon in his mouth halfway between third base and home plate. That's him. He's not a great deal maker or a great marketer. Everything he literally gets involved in is just an egomaniac needing to see his fingerprints on everything, despite the ultimate outcome of it, which in Donald Trump's case, time and time again, seems to be effing it up again and again, and at the expense of Americans, at the expense of the world, and at the expense of the U.S.'s status in the world. It's sad to see it play out, Ben.
It's weakness masquerading as strength, as California Governor Gavin Newsom has said before. But people who are supposed to be strong in this moment behaving so weak and sheepish is one of the most frustrating things to see right now. It is so important right now to stand up against this. But when you see a Tim Cook go into the Oval Office with the golden nugget that he gives to Donald Trump as like an offering, please give me exemption so I can do deals. Here's a golden nugget. Like what the hell? When NVIDIA is tapping out and Intel is talking about potentially letting the government take it over, Columbia University, law firms, when they're tapping out and they're giving in, when corporate news has given in, it's why we, the people, need to stand up. It's why when we look at people like California Governor Gavin Newsom right now standing up to Donald Trump, it's like finally somebody fighting fire with fire. When we see Bernie Sanders and AOC, or even someone like a Mondami in New York, unapologetically just standing up to the regime, it's like finally people who are just talking about what's happening in this moment right now. So I want to talk a little bit about that when we come back. I want to also show you Donald Trump's now claiming that he actually resolved 10 wars. He just found out that he resolved 3 wars he didn't realize. So his number's actually 10. He says, wait, what the hell are you even
Give him
talking?
Nobel Peace Prize, B. Nobel Peace Prize.
They set up a Fallujah style, I talked earlier, military operation out of Union Station. And this evening, Donald Trump's like going on patrol. I don't know if he's going to bring Dr. Phil with him through the streets of Washington, D.C. Like, what are you doing? These red states like Mississippi and South Carolina and Ohio are giving their National Guard in Washington, D.C., when there's 50 plus cities in those states that have significantly higher crime than Washington, D.C. Why don't you send the National Guard into your own cities right there? And then you have Donald Trump making posts like, we can eliminate politics altogether if we just do what Putin told me to do, which is just get rid of mail-in ballots, and then I can win everything, and then there won't be a Democratic Party anymore. And then our corporate news is just like, well, another day today, there are some concerning signs in the economy, but in other news, what's this, a Cracker Barrel or whatever it's called, Cracker Barrel, da-da-da-da-da-da. Anyway, we'll talk about this and more. We'll take our first quick break. A reminder, hit subscribe to our YouTube channel. Your memberships to this YouTube channel have helped us grow so much. And so we're so grateful for you becoming a member of our YouTube. You can gift memberships to as many people as you want. Just hit the join button. And then there's even an option to gift memberships. Also, check out MeidasPlus.com. Just make sure to spell it correctly. MeidasPlus.com. All right, first quick break of the show. We'll be right back.
This episode of the MeidasTouch Podcast is brought to you by Graza, my new favorite olive oil. What makes it so good? It's fresh, never blended, and made from a single type of olive, the Picual, grown in Jaén, Spain, which produces over half of the world's olive oil. Let me tell you why Graza stands out. First, single origin goodness. One olive, one region. That means no mystery blends and no watered down lower grade oils, just a pure, traceable, fresher product. Second, the squeeze and spray bottles are legit game changers. No more messy tins or dripping spouts. Just aim, squeeze, and go. And finally, they've got 3 types for any task. Frizzle with a higher 490 degree Fahrenheit smoke point, perfect for frying, crisping, and grilling. Sizzle at 410 degrees Fahrenheit, your go-to everyday cooking oil for roasting, marinating, and sauteing. And Drizzle, a bold, punchy finishing oil that's perfect on salads, breads, or even ice cream if you want to get fancy like I do. Personally, what I love most is that as a busy guy who loves to cook, the squeeze and spray bottle makes everything easier. Whether I'm roasting veggies or just whipping up a quick marinade, zero mess and full flavor. Plus, you get 10% off your first order when you order on Graza's site. I personally recommend the trio. That's all 3 bottles, Sizzle, Frizzle, and Drizzle, so you're covered for every style of cooking. So head to graza.co and use code MIDAS to get 10% off of Trio, which includes Sizzle, frizzle and drizzle and get to cooking your next chef quality meal. That's MEIDAS.
The older I get, the more I find myself wanting to be more intentional about the way I live, eat, and take care of my body. That's why I'm so happy I found Mosh. Mosh, which you may have heard about on Shark Tank, was founded by Maria Shriver and her son Patrick Schwarzenegger with a simple mission to create a conversation about brain health through food, education, and research. Maria's father suffered from Alzheimer's, and since then, she and Patrick have dedicated themselves to finding ways to help other families dealing with this debilitating disease. Mosh joined forces with the world's top scientists and functional nutritionists to go beyond your average protein bar. With 8 delicious flavors, including a plant-based one in peanut butter and chocolate, each Mosh bar is made with ingredients that support brain health like ashwagandha, lion's mane, collagen, and omega-3s. And now Mosh bars come with a new look and new formulation featuring a game-changing brain-boosting ingredient that you won't find in any other bar. Mosh is now the first and only food brand boosted with Cognizant, a premium nootropic that supplies the brain with a patent form of citicoline. But here's the best part: to make you feel good, Mosh donates a portion of all proceeds from your order to fund gender-based brain health research through the Women's Alzheimer's Movement. Why gender-based? Because 2/3 of all Alzheimer's patients are women. Mosh is working closely to close the gap between women and men's health research. Personally, I love the taste of my Mosh bars. My favorite is the peanut butter crunch, which I have each morning before I head off to the gym. Now, if you want to find ways to give back to others and fuel your body and your brain, Mosh bars are the perfect choice for you. Head to moshlife.com/Meidas to save 20% off plus free shipping on the bestseller trial pack. That's 20% off plus free shipping on the bestsellers trial pack at moshlife.com/Meidas. Thank you, Mosh, for sponsoring this episode. Let's go. Shout out to our sponsors. Links in description of both the YouTube and the audio. Click the links, use the codes. If there's an exit survey, let them know we sent you. Brothers, I don't know if you told the Meidas Mighty why I'm in Dallas on Monday's show or not. I actually, you didn't. I'm out here talking to all the sponsors that we know and love. So trying to work on those deals.
We absolutely did. So,
no, I listened to the show and you just said I was in Dallas. But I'm out here working on these awesome deals for you guys. Definitely trying to get the best ones possible. So show some love to the sponsors. They do some great work. And I'm in Dallas. So I got this for Elijah. Obviously I have to get him like a toy, right? When I get a little sheriff badge, it says his name on it. So secure. Stoked on that when I come home. Benji, where to next, big bro?
I got that footage of Harriet Hagman walking around with a lasso. We'll just put it up here, show the B-roll of her with a lasso, just so everybody can see like that I'm not making this up. There she is. She walks around with a lasso. Like, why are you walking around with a lasso for real? Like, what the heck are you doing? People are like, what? Why? Here she is again with the lasso. You know, and these people, like, they just want attention. I mean, you had Nancy Mace. She walked around with like an actual scarlet letter that she like posted on her shirt. And she's like, I have this letter because I'm being treated so unfairly. And it's just like, just stop with this nonsense. Like, we need these people just to behave like normal human beings. And why have we normalized, all of this behavior? I want to go back to that radio show that Donald Trump did earlier as well, where Donald Trump claims that he actually solved 10 wars. He said it was 10 wars, not just 7. He's been saying 7, but he found out 3 more recently. Here, play this clip.
A lot of things going. We ended 7 wars, probably more than that. They wrote an article and they gave me 3 additional ones that I ended without even knowing it. But, I saw things were going bad and it looked like it was going to go bad, and it could have been 10. But
I mean, that's just very bizarre and dangerous behavior. I mean, taking credit for stopping 7 wars already, which he did not do, and now saying the number is actually 10 because he's so thirsty for a Nobel Peace Prize. Arguably, no one has caused more death in the world right now than what Donald Trump has enabled to take place right now. Donald, if there was an opposite of the Nobel Prize, Donald Trump should get that prize. Which isn't a prize at all.
What he did with USAID alone and Doge, like that alone, not only disqualifying, but absolutely criminal.
But just think about it. He killed millions, like Donald Trump and Elon Musk, as a result of USAID, likely killed millions of people out there. Millions of people's lives. killed because Donald Trump prevented them from getting food and medicine that was promised to them. Donald Trump could have done this in a way, if you wanted to be cruel, but still be like, okay, I'm not going to kill him. You could have said 6-month warning. We need others to fill in the gap. We're gonna keep the food and medicine coming for about 6 months. But no, what Donald Trump said was, gone. We're going to incinerate. We're going to burn the food and medicine to let people die. And that story really hasn't been told. The amount of people who died, the amount of people who are still going to die, the amount of people who now have HIV because Donald Trump deprived them of the medication that was supposed to be given to their mothers. I mean, just think about the blood that's on this guy's hand, not to mention enabling Putin, encouraging and enabling Netanyahu. Just think about what this guy's done. But here's what he wants to do. This is what Donald Trump said he was doing today on this right-wing podcast, going out on patrol in D.C. with the National Guard and police. This is what he said on the show. Here, let's play this clip.
And I'm going to be going out tonight. I'm going to keep it a secret, but I'm going to go. You're the only one that knows. You and your lots of listeners. You have a great show. You have a very successful show, by the way, in case you haven't heard that. But I'm going to be going out tonight, I think, with the police, with the military, of course. So we're going to do a job. The National Guard is great. They've done a fantastic.
And then that host, who's previously has said, if you vote Democrat, you hate Jesus. If you vote Democrat, you love criminal. Like, this guy is the worst, this host. But here's what he says to Donald Trump as well, that he hopes that Donald Trump goes out and tases and shoots people. Here, play this clip.
Does the president have a gun? Are they going to let him tase somebody? I want to see my president tase somebody tonight. That's what I want to see.
But if you want to know who are those 35% of Americans who still support that guy, it's people who listen to him. That's actually what they want. They wake up and they're okay if they don't have health care, if they're treated like crap, because they believe that that's life anyway. They believe that's okay. As long as Donald Trump is out there killing people in Africa, killing people across the world, torturing migrants, building 1,000 concentration camps across America, talking about feeding migrants, brown people, citizens do, to alligators and alligator Alcatraz. They live out those fantasies through him, and that like turns them on. Like, they get horny over it. Like these are sick people who get excited over the torture of human beings, and that's the point. They want more of the torture.
Yeah, you hear it in that guy's voice. And Brett, can you play that clip one more time? I mean, you literally like the guy is like kind of getting off on the idea of Trump.
The guy's got like a fascist. Like, I want him. Yes.
Play the clip. Just play it one more time.
You were gonna say he's got a fascist boner, weren't you?
Yeah.
I know what you're going. Yeah.
Does the president have a gun? Are they gonna let him tase somebody? I want to see my president tase somebody tonight. That's what I want to see.
I mean, it's the creepiest clip of all time too for our audio listeners. Like, the guy's face. Enough of that.
Listen, enough of fascist Peter Griffin. Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
And then look, but here's
by the way, wait, real quick though. Can we just play everyone's favorite game? Imagine if Biden did it. Imagine if President Biden said that he didn't end 7 wars, that he ended 10 wars. Could you imagine corporate media at every press conference? What are the 10 wars he ended? Can he name all the 10 wars? Does he know? Why are we giving cognitively addled Donald Trump? And I don't say this to be like cutesy or anything like that. I certainly don't say it to give him, get him off any future prosecutions here, but the dude is not with it. And that's the scariest thing, is that he has aligned himself with all of these yes people that will just say and do whatever he wants. And then in addition to that, as Brett so astutely pointed out in the beginning of the show, corporate media does him every favor in the books, trying to frame the guy as if any of this is normal. And just so imagine if President Biden said that he didn't end 7 wars, he ended 10 wars, what the corporate media landscape would be like, Brett.
What Ben hit on before, though, is true. Like, these are bad people. Like, I don't say that lightly, because I don't like looking down on my fellow Americans in that sort of fashion. But when you look at the glee, or the fascist, what Ben was talking about before, from evil Peter Griffin over there. These are sick people. They're really sick people. In many ways, just totally irredeemable. And so when there are folks out there who go, oh, you just got to work together with these people, we just got to link arms and just try to move ahead and forward with what's best for America. They don't want what's best for America. That's like the thing you need to realize. They don't want to work with you. They want to kill you. And I think there are some people out there who understand this. And there are some people out there who still think we're in this like old political system. We're not. I'm sorry. And all those politicians who go, oh, we just got to find some ways to, find some bipartisanship. Da, 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 da. I get it. If you're able to find something that helps your state or whatever, you pass a bill, great, more power to you. But don't act like these people are acting in good faith with any of these things. And I think that's something, and we'll talk about him in a bit, but I think that's something that Gavin Newsom has tapped into correctly. It's that these people are not people you deal with in a normal fashion. They're using a blunt object to attack you every single day. So you need to fight back harder. You need to fight back more direct, and you need to also mock them. You need to humiliate them. And by the way, that's what Tim Walz was doing during the campaign. And he was doing it so great till the consultants told him that he was being mean and he needed to tone it down a little bit. These people need to be called out for the freaks that they are. You look at that person, you go, that's a weird person. And you got to remember, that's a minority of the population. But they try to act like they have all of this power because people normalize it. And we cannot normalize it. Ben.
Yeah, I mean, look, we talk about these, the vice president, J.D. Vance, perfect example, right? He's had 3 different names in his life. He's had 3 or 4 different identities, like totally different human beings, right? He grew up with one identity. He thought he was gay. And then he convinced himself that he wasn't gay, but he thought he was gay. Then he changes his name to something else. Then he changes his name to J.D. Vance. And then he goes from like a gay guy to like a soft-spoken straight guy who goes to law school. And then he claims he's this guy from Appalachia who like was fighting for, the downtrodden when he's from, Jordy, the area he's from in Ohio. The guy's from like the suburbs, but he appropriates this. I'm from Appalachia. I'm helping all of the people, and I'm an anti-Trumper. Trump's really a fraud. He's taking away your Medicaid. He's taking away your Medicare. He's going to screw you, but he's pretending. I'm the anti-Trumper. And then he goes in this modern manifestation of J.D. Vance, which is like a Putin bootlicker, whatever Donald Trump says, woke this, I'm a bro, watch me bro it out on the podcast. And nobody calls it out that this guy's like the least normal dude in the world. And no one because they're afraid to call out this behavior. I mean, here's the headlines. I want to remind people, J.D. Vance once wrote that he convinced himself that he was gay when he was a kid. And then The Advocate wrote another piece about him as well. But then J.D. Vance is out there now attacking the LGBTQ community. What was Donald Trump talking about all day today? We're going after the transgender community. We're going after the transgenders. And it's just like, you would do that. Go after weak people. Go after marginalized communities. That's what you're going to do. You roll out the red carpet for Putin. You have our military bend the knee to Putin. Literally roll out a red carpet. Images that are so freaking disgraceful and treasonous and traitorous that deserve far more attention than it is. But you pick on the trans community? Really? Tough guy. Who else do you pick on? Poor children who need lunch and you take away their lunch? Tough guy. Going after poor kids and taking away their lunch. Who else are you going to go after, Donald? I mean, that's the thing. It's weakness masquerading as strength. And we need to just call out this is from The Advocate, how J.D. Vance went from thinking he was gay and changing his name twice to being an anti-LGBTQ extremist. And this guy's now the freaking vice president of the United States. And he was asked about Putin during this interview he did on Fox. He acts like RT, Russian TV, their state regime media, just basically post his comments verbatim. They don't even need to do edits or mischaracterize it. They just post what J.D. Vance says. I never actually met Putin, but he's a very soft-spoken guy. He's very deliberate. He cares about Russia first. Donald Trump cares about America first. How about you stand up for Zelensky? Has this regime ever said who they want to win the war? No, because they want Russia to win the war. Have they ever praised Ukraine's courage? Have they ever said that we need to? No, they never did any of that. This is what he says about Putin. Here, play this clip.
What's it like meeting Putin? What was he like, just one-on-one?
So I've actually never met Putin. The president did that meeting. I've talked to him on the phone a number of times. You know, it's interesting. He's more soft-spoken than you would necessarily expect. You know, the American media has a particular image of him. He's soft-spoken in a certain way. He's very deliberate. He's very careful. And I think fundamentally he's a person who looks out for the interests as he sees it of Russia. And I think one of the reasons he respects the President of the United States is because he knows the President looks out for the interests of the American people. And while they often disagree about issues, and obviously the President has been very critical of Vladimir Putin, the President's also willing to work with anybody if he thinks it's going to accomplish an important goal for America. And we all agree an important goal is to stop the killing.
He's never been critical of Vladimir Putin. I've never heard Donald Trump say anything. The most Donald Trump has ever said critical is, you know, I'm not too happy. You know, I thought that there was going to be an end to the killing. I'm not too happy. That was the most critical I've ever heard Donald Trump say anything critical or criticizing Putin. He's soft-spoken. He's deliberate. He's whatever. What the hell is that right there? Oh,
what is that though? Seriously, because what in the Putin glaze is that? And people are just going to let him skate off of that. Ben, to your point, what does he say? He characterizes Putin as he's a soft-spoken guy looking out for Russia, just the best interests of Russia. The American media, they've painted this portrait of him. They view him a certain way. It's like, bro, what do we?
Exactly. You know, Peskov is Putin's Caroline Levitt.
Yep.
J.D. Vance is doing the work of Peskov. Donald Trump is doing the work of Peskov. The MAGA Republican Party is doing the work of Peskov.
But Ben, is it any surprise to you that the way J.D. Vance describes Vladimir Putin and the way he treats the Russian people is identical to the way that he describes Donald Trump and the way Trump views and treats the American people? To me, no surprise whatsoever that in his mind, same exact thing.
Yeah. And then take a look at this clip right here. J.D. Vance in that same interview saying that actually housing costs are going down because we've kicked out migrants, because we've kicked out illegal immigrants. Housing prices are going down. Here, play this clip.
They were actually defending the rights of illegal immigrants to come into our country, to vote in our elections, to collect Social Security and Medicaid that ought by right go to American citizens, to say nothing of housing. This is actually the biggest driver of housing costs in some of these big blue cities, is that they've flooded the zone with illegal immigrants. As we've kicked illegal aliens out of our country, you actually see housing costs start to level off. So fundamentally, the difference between Republicans and Democrats is we care about American citizens. They actually don't like American citizens and want to replace them with low-wage foreigners. It's a very stark difference, and I think the American people are going to continue to reward us because of it.
Again, it's just a made-up world that he's talking about. Housing prices are up. In another part that I don't need to play, he goes, inflation has basically been eliminated. Inflation is rising significantly right there. What are you talking about? Democrats don't like American citizens? What the Democrats put forward a comprehensive bipartisan immigration bill that would address having a strong border, but also recognizing the need to have migrants work certain jobs. And so they don't also work it in the shadows, but that they're able to have a path towards citizenship while getting rid of criminals. That's what we want. That's a common sense solution. But Donald Trump said, kill that bill. This is a winning issue for me. Chaos is a winning issue for me. So they could go and they can spew those things and divide us. At every point in time, it's to divide us. It's to affirmatively inject and cause problems and division and chaos and harm. Trump and J.D. Vance and these vile pieces of trash want to hurt this country so that they can prey. These are predators. These are freaking predators. They're bad people. Donald Trump's a predator, okay? A lifelong, horrible human being. Someone who's bankrupted business after business. A convicted felon. Someone who's been found liable for fraud. And don't let those headlines mislead you. The Court of Appeal, I'll talk about this when we get back. The Court of Appeals affirmed the finding that Donald Trump committed fraud in the New York civil case. They've disagreed on the damages. That now goes to the highest court in New York, which is called their Court of Appeal. But they've agreed that he committed the underlying fraud. So all these headlines too, oh, it was reversed. He was found not liable for fraud. That's just not freaking true. And why in every step and every turn do you have this ridiculous propagandized media that gives this vile piece of trash these benefits of the doubt? He's cognitively addled. He's an idiot. He lies about everything. He's committed fraud basically his entire life. He's a loser. He's freaking weird. And it's like, oh, okay, that's what we're going to do. That's why when we come back, I want to talk about Gavin Newsom bullying the crap out of this vile piece of trash because he deserves it. All of these MAGA people who behave this way deserve to be just called out for it strongly, firmly, like we believe it. And that's what the people are saying out there. They're saying, yes, stand up to these MAGA idiots, because that's what they are. They're festering idiots who need to be called out at every single turn strongly. Don't enable them. Stop with these corporations going to them. Oh, no, and stand up for other human beings. Stand up for marginalized communities. Stand up for LGBTQ. Stand up for diversity. Because when you don't, when you equivocate, these MAGAs come in and try to erase your freaking history, and they come for you. Don't think there's compromise with this people. There's none. Don't think you make deals with these people. They don't do deals in good faith. You stand up for yourself and you fight like your life depends on it, because it does. Take our last quick break of the show. Hit subscribe now.
I just want to say this before we go to break, because I want to just show you very clearly that even JD Vance knows that JD Vance is full of shit, and he knows exactly what he's doing. Let me also make it very clear that the reason that home prices are stagnant and falling is not because of illegal immigrants. It's not because of undocumented people. It has nothing to do with this whatsoever. He is once again scapegoating a group in order to direct hatred at this group and blame them for the problems of the Trump economy. As we see, it's always somebody else's fault. It's never JD Vance's fault. It's never Donald Trump's fault. It's always the LGBT person's fault. It's always the immigrants' fault. They always find somebody to scapegoat and blame. And let me just show you this tweet from JD Vance from back in the day. Here's a tweet from JD Vance from years ago, before he made this latest transformation to full MAGA, where he said, "Trump makes people I care about afraid, immigrants, Muslims, etc. Because of this, I find him reprehensible. God wants better of us." Well, God wants better of you, JD Vance. We'll be right back after this quick break on the MeidasTouch Podcast. Don't you go anywhere. Remember to become a member of our YouTube channel here. It really helps us continue to grow the network. Check out our Substack at MeidasPlus.com. We got a lot of great content always there, including our daily news bulletins from Ron Filipkowski. We'll be right back after this with more. Don't go anywhere.
I love starting my morning with Mud Water. It's delicious and clears up my brain fog incredibly quickly. Mud Water's OG blend is a mix of cocoa, chow, turmeric, and adaptogenic mushrooms to help you feel focused without the crash. And the best part, it's amazing over ice. Now, seriously, just mix it with cold water or milk, shake it up, pour it over ice, and boom, you've got yourself a refreshing feel-good boost that actually helps you stay balanced. Every single ingredient in Mud Water's products are 100% USDA certified organic, non-GMO, gluten-free, vegan, and kosher. There's also zero sugar and no sweeteners added. To use Mud Water, you simply drop the powder into your favorite mug, pour some water on it, and give it a mix. Some go wild and add creamer, honey, or even CBD. The best part about Mud Water is it provides sustained energy without the spikes and crash of traditional coffee. There's also caffeine-free blends available. Mud Water is available at Target and Sprouts locations across the US, so it's never been easier to grab a cup of this friendly pick-me-up. Ready to make the switch to cleaner energy? Head to mudwater.com and grab your starter kit today. Right now, our listeners get an exclusive deal, up to 43% off your entire order, plus free shipping and a free rechargeable frother when you use code MIDAS. That's right, up to 43% off with code MIDAS at MUDWTR.com. Now, after your purchase, they'll ask how you found them. Please show support and let them know that we sent you. Keep your energy natural and refreshing all year with Mud Water, because life's too short for anything less than clean, delicious energy. Want this to be your most radiant summer yet? Prolon's 5-day fasting mimicking diet makes it easy to target fat loss, support lean muscle, and reset your metabolism, so you look and feel your best all summer long. In just 5 days, Prolon works at the cellular level to rejuvenate you from the inside out and help you hit your summer health goals. Prolon is a plant-based nutrition program featuring soups, snacks, and beverages designed to nourish the body while keeping it in a fasting state, triggering cellular rejuvenation and renewal. Next Gen builds on the original Prolon with 100% organic soups and teas, a richer taste, and ready-to-eat meals. Developed over decades at USC's Longevity Institute and backed by top US medical centers, Prolon has been shown to support biological age reduction, metabolic health, skin appearance, fat loss, and energy. No matter the season, when I'm craving a real reset, Prolon is the only nutrition program that works for me. It's convenient, backed by Nobel-winning science, and it works. For a limited time, you can be first in line to experience the new Next Gen at special savings. Prolon is offering the MeidasTouch Podcast listeners 15% off site-wide, plus a $40 bonus gift when you subscribe to their 5-day nutrition program. Just visit prolonlife.com/Meidas. That's prolonlife.com/Meidas to claim your 15% discount and your bonus gift. prolonlife.com/Meidas. If there's a surefire way to wake up feeling fresh after drinks with friends, it's with pre-alcohol. ZBiotics Pre-Alcohol Probiotic Drink is the world's first genetically engineered probiotic. It was invented by PhD scientists to tackle rough mornings after drinking. Now here's how it works. When you drink, alcohol gets converted into a toxic byproduct in the gut. It's a buildup of this byproduct, not dehydration, that's to blame for rough days after drinking. Pre-alcohol produces an enzyme to break this byproduct down. Just remember to make pre-alcohol your first drink of the night, drink responsibly, and you'll feel your best tomorrow. Now, every time I have pre-alcohol before drinks, I notice a difference the next day. Even after a night out, I can confidently plan on having a great next day without worrying. Look, I won't lie, I was definitely a bit on the fence about pre-alcohol initially. But while hanging out with some friends this summer at a bar, I gave it a shot, and believe me, it's the real deal. I drank ZBiotics before my first espresso martini, and you wouldn't believe how on top of my game I felt the very next morning. The final days of summer are here for you to enjoy. Whether you're heading to the beach, camping in the woods, or squeezing in one last vacation road trip, don't forget to bring ZBiotics Pre-Alcohol Probiotic Drink. Drink a pre-alcohol before drinking and enjoy every day of summer to the fullest. Go to zbiotics.com/Meidas to learn more and get 15% off your first order when you use Meidas at checkout. ZBiotics is backed with a 100% money-back guarantee. So if you're unsatisfied for any reason, they'll refund your money, no questions asked. Remember to head to zbiotics.com/Meidas and use the code Meidas at checkout for 15% off. Let's go. Shout out to our sponsors. Links in description of both the YouTube and the audio. Use the links, use the codes. If there's an exit survey, let them know we sent you. I see your comments, everyone. And yes, my Long Island accent does come out when I say the word water. It is just something that can't kick it. Sorry. Just I'm proud of it. I'm proud of it.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Benji, where to next?
Here's what Sean Hannity has to say about California Governor Gavin Newsom. Let's play it.
I have a point. Results matter. A new, performative, confrontational style. Maybe it wins you points with the loony radical base in your party, but America is not going to vote for that record.
Let me show you what Kellyanne Conway has to say on Fox. Let's play it.
And look at Gavin Newsom. He tried to do this, was it a radio show, a podcast, whatever he tried to do. Now he's busy trolling on social media, and it's cringe, it's falling flat. I'm sure they'll come after me now, who cares? Because Donald Trump is one of one. Only he can do what he's done with social media, with podcasts, in the way he's done it. 900 rallies and counting. The thing that he does that we all miss and don't talk enough about is he just works harder than everyone else.
Only he can do it. Only Donald Trump can say, Taylor Swift, I hate you, and then post AI images of Taylor Swift and say, thank you for your endorsement. Or Donald Trump can post 15 to 20 utterly deranged posts calling for media people to be criminally prosecuted, calling for governors of the Federal Reserve Board like Lisa Cook, who Donald Trump doesn't like. He has his head of the Fair Housing Administration, this guy Bill Pulte, who he puts in to just go through people's mortgages and then have criminal referrals to the DOJ, and then Donald Trump then posts, prosecute her, go after people I don't like, or calling people whatever these stupid nicknames are for Adam Schiff. And only Donald Trump can do that. He's a one of one. He just works harder. What California Governor Gavin Newsom has done by making posts like this is, I think it's just been a wake-up call to everybody that they have to address it. And when they see it from somebody else, they're just like, how could a governor of the biggest state behave like this? I mean, it's just so unprofessional. I mean, he needs to be more responsible and much more deliberate in his words. F you. First off, he's doing it as a parody to mock Donald Trump. Okay, that should be pretty obvious what he's doing. But number two, it's like, how is everybody, even when corporate news asks Newsom, do you think it's appropriate to be calling Stephen Miller a cuck? Do you think that's the appropriate? What do you do? You don't hold Donald Trump to those standards. It's okay for Trump's communications director to go say "F you, you effing moron," and you're like, okay, we're just gonna post that. That's just Donald Trump being Donald Trump. Here's what Governor Newsom posted moments ago. Wow, my maps, the best maps ever made, will soon pass in the greatest legislature anywhere in the world. Not just America. American thank me, Gavin C. Newsom, and two very special people, Magic Mike and Rainmaker Robert, who led the legislature. Total legends. These are perfect, beautiful maps. People are saying already, screaming, mama, mama, and I say, no, I'm your daddy. I'm your daddy. The golden era begins in the Golden State because of me, GCN. Then he posts like these photos of himself putting his finger right into Donald Trump's chest, and he's just like, to Donald Trump, this is a good one. He goes, pro tip for Trump: if you want to master the deal, try walking in like you own the room. And again, I just love these posts because or he goes, wow, an honor, thank you, congratulations, Californians. California pays a lot of poor red state bills. California, the fourth largest economy in the world. And look, you got to bully the bullies. Wow, look, I'm on Mount Rushmore. Thank you. Wow, I got the Nobel Peace Prize. He's showing how stupid, how dumb, how idiotic this MAGA world is right there. There he is riding an alligator. The American Brett Jordy.
I mean, hey, in order to break through right now, in order to get something done, in order to get noticed by anybody, you need to be able to capture the attention economy. It's a big thing right now, and it's something that really no Democrats have been able to get past, because there are people who play by the rules on the Democratic side, and then there's Donald Trump, who doesn't play by any rules. That, like I said before, he just uses a blunt object. He just kind of, like the Kool-Aid man, just knocks down the wall, causes chaos, does whatever he wants. And the media is so used to it by now that they're like, oh, there's a giant hole in our wall. I guess that's just normal. I guess that's just Donald being Donald. The second that somebody like Gavin Newsom does it, people are like, whoa, this is weird. What is happening? What the hell is going on? And I think anytime, I said this in the last show, anytime you have Fox reacting the way that they're reacting to him, that's exactly what Gavin Newsom wants. Gavin Newsom has been talked about on Fox like most of the time over the past few days, which is exactly what he's looking for. He wants that attention. He wants to hold a mirror up to them and show how silly they look, and expose how stupid Donald Trump looks when he writes all these things. And he's actually backing it up with real action, like his plan to counter what Texas is doing by passing their rigged maps. And you'll see Fox, they try to, they live in their own alternate reality world. They try to go, oh, well, it's actually the blue states that started this rigged map battle, the gerrymandering battle. Shut the heck up. Stop with the lies. Stop with the lies. And in order to push back on those lies, you need somebody who's going to be able to match the energy of Trump. You need somebody who's going to be able to expose these people. And Gavin Newsom is doing just that. He's making Trump look smaller than ever. He makes Trump's tweets somehow look like even sillier now, and almost like imitations of Gavin Newsom's, like in a weird way. You see Trump using the all caps even less. Like, Trump has been very self-conscious about it. Clearly, he didn't even want to respond to Newsom for a while, and then last night at 1 a.m, Trump couldn't even handle it. And at 1 a.m, he's like, Gavin Newsom is being mean. Gavin Newsom, worst governor. All right. Target acquired, target locked, exactly what we wanted to happen right there. Gavin Newsom is playing this whole situation brilliantly, and it's nice for a change to see this propaganda media on their heels, not knowing how the heck to handle it. And I think as we look forward to future elections, as we look forward to the midterms, as we look forward to the next presidential election, people need to understand that people are looking for fighters and not bullshit performative acts. You know, there's a lot of people who think fighting means performance. It doesn't. Performance could be part of it, but it's not just about performance. People are looking for real fighters, authentic fighters. People are looking for somebody who could harness the anger that so many of us included, are feeling about these freaks who have taken over our government. And so many people are willing to treat them with kid gloves. And the person who could harness that anger, who could harness that energy, who could call these people out for what they are, that's going to be the person who's the next nominee in 2028 for the Democrats.
1000%. And when we look at 3 years down the line, you're going to have to hold up your resumes and you're going to have to compare. Where were you these last 3.5, 4 years? Where were you? Where were you when the redistricting stuff was happening? Were you fighting? Were you on the front lines? Were you actively trying to stop it or trying to counteract it? Or were you just sitting on your hands? And some folks are going to have to answer for where they've been during this fight. And you're going to have to hold up those resumes every step of the way. People want fighters. At the end of the day, if y'all have ever been in a fight, like a real fight, there are no rules. There are no rules. It's not, when they go low, you go high mentality. That's not what we do. Absolutely not. It's we're going to match their energy. We're going to do it better than them. And we're going to win by any means necessary. And so that's just where we are in the current playing field of 2025 America. And if you can't roll up your sleeve and say, bet, I'm game, let's play by those rules, then, well, I'm sorry, but you're not living in the country that we're all currently living in, Ben.
Let me give us a quick legal roundup right now of everything that's just happened. A lot of legal cases. So you had Judge Berman in the Southern District of New York say that Donald Trump's attempt to demand that the court release grand jury transcripts of the Epstein case and the Ghislaine case is a diversionary tactic, and that clearly that could not be released under Federal Rule 6E. But Judge Berman said, you have all the files. So you're in a better position to release it than me, a federal judge who's bound by Federal Rule of Criminal Procedure 6E not to release it. You say you have the files. You have over 100,000 documents. Turn the files over. So the court says you release them. You have them. Therefore, it doesn't go against Federal Rule 6E. You do it. It's a powerful ruling. I covered it this morning on this MeidasTouch YouTube feed. Another major ruling from a federal judge in Pennsylvania who was designated to rule on this case involving Alina Habba's unlawfully remaining as the United States attorney on an interim basis in New Jersey. She was kicked out. Her time expired, but then the Trump regime fired a lifelong Republican who was then appointed to be the interim United States attorney by the federal judges in New Jersey. But the Trump regime said, nope, let's kick out the lifelong career prosecutor Republican so Alina Habba can stay on when Alina Habba's time expired. She was never confirmed by the Senate, and she was kicked out by the federal judges when her term expired. They could have extended it. They said absolutely not. So now criminal defendants throughout New Jersey who are being prosecuted are saying it's illegal to prosecute us, because Alina Habba's an illegal United States attorney for New Jersey. So anything she does with us should be void. And this court basically said that's true. Now, someone else can come and re-prosecute them. It's not like they get a full dismissal because of the technicality. But if this continues, they can't be prosecuted basically by someone who's serving unlawfully. It's like, dude or dudette, your time's done, leave. But that's like these sociopaths. They stay. It's like you're not wanted. You've been kicked out by bipartisan federal judges who don't want you there. You tried to prosecute the mayor of Newark, then dismissed your own frivolous case. You were not able to meet the challenges. You could have stepped into the role and behaved like a grown-up, even though you didn't deserve the role. You were a parking lot attorney. You lost most of Donald Trump's cases. You were sanctioned over $1 million when you were Trump's lawyer in a case where he sued Hillary Clinton and others. But you got this big job. You could have behaved like an adult. Nope, Alina Habba, incapable of it. She was kicked out, and then she just stays. I'm not leaving. I'm staying in my office. Again, that's why you have to stand strong against these people, because who does that, right? When you get fired or someone tells you to leave your job, you leave. That's like what normal people do. You leave. You're done. It's sad. You're upset about it, but you're done. Not MAGA. I'm not leaving. It's like with the elections. I'm not leaving. I'm rigging the system. Not fair. Me not fair. That's who these people are. They're all like this. So you have to show them strength because that's the only thing they know, and you can't coddle them. And they're relentless with their whining and their playing victim and all of this crap. So you have to be strong there. That's what happened there. In the New York Attorney General civil case against Donald Trump, all of the headlines were like, Donald Trump wins. He wins. The case is over. The court overturns what the lower court did. No, it's not what happened. The court actually said that Donald Trump is found liable for fraud, that Attorney General Letitia James did have the ability to get an injunction to stop Trump from doing future business. Where they had disagreements was the $500 million fine. They all found various degrees of being excessive, that the money penalty was too high. Not that Trump should be penalized, not doing business, Trump organization having a receiver, all of those equitable remedies allowed. The issue is the financial penalty and what that entails. Now that just goes now to the highest court in New York, which is confusingly called the Court of Appeals there, and they ultimately will be the ones who decide. Now, finally, the Supreme Court made a terrible ruling regarding Trump gutting $783 million in funding to the NIH. That has to do with anything about Trump's definition of diversity or equity. And the Supreme Court basically granted Trump's emergency appeal to freeze $783 million from NIH grants if Donald Trump views them as diversity. Roberts actually joined in the dissent here. It was a 5-4 ruling, but this is how the Supreme Court has been making these rulings. They don't rule on the merits. They basically give Donald Trump the freeze or the stay of the lower court ruling, which blocks what Donald Trump does, which enables Trump to then engage in the conduct that the district court said was unlawful by reversing the district court stay and finding that this would cause some irreparable harm to Donald Trump and to Trump's regime if they're not able to enact their policy, versus what they could do is just say, let the district court go on and have their trial so that they can ultimately have witnesses be called. And then we can determine it how the Supreme Court normally handles things after a case is decided on trial and it works its way up through the Court of Appeals. The Supreme Court's now doing all of these procedural things to try to help Donald Trump, but it's a right-wing Supreme Court. That's what happens when you have a major political party, the Republican Party, that's full fascism right now. They're no different than Kim Jong-un's, political parties or the parties that exist in China or in Russia. That's what the Republican Party is today. You have a far right-wing Supreme Court that's no different than the types of courts you see in Iran or in China or in Russia that will rubber stamp what Trump does. You have corporations in the United States that bend the knee and that does what Donald Trump wants because they think that they could be the oligarchs if they just do what Donald Trump wants. But then you have we the people who are showing strength and courage during this time. And it is so important for us to be the ones who fight back. So that's what we're going to do at the MeidasTouch Network. It's why we're launching Meidas Canada with Charlie Angus, a big announcement there today that I'm proud about. You can go to MeidasPlus.com to find out more about the launch of Meidas Canada. Then we're going to go to Australia and Europe, and we're going to go across the world building out Meidas networks in countries across the world. So thank you, everybody, for watching this. That's all for me. Brett, anything else before we all go?
That was a great legal breakdown. Appreciate you bringing us up to speed on everything. A lot of misinformation out there today. So I'm happy you were able to set the record straight, bring everyone up to date. We have a whole channel actually dedicated to specifically legal news also that everybody should check out. It's the Legal AF channel at youtube.com/@legalafmtn. You could check it out. It's run by Michael Popak and us. You get some of the best experts there, some of the best lawyers in the world giving legal analysis and reporting. So definitely check that out. And of course, the Legal AF podcast that Ben does with Michael Popak and with Karen Friedman Agnifilo. You definitely want to check that out anywhere you find podcasts as well. Oh yeah. Check out our Substack, as Ben said, if you want to learn more about the launch of Meidas Canada, which is coming very soon, folks. right around the corner. So look that up on our Substack, MeidasPlus.com. Another great episode, brothers. Jordy, take it away.
Shout out to the Meidas Mighty. Want to stay plugged in? Become a subscriber to our Substack at MeidasPlus.com. You'll get daily recaps from Ron Filipkowski, ad-free episodes of our podcast, and more exclusive content only available at MeidasPlus.com.